Welcome into another edition of high school volleyball on Southfield Cable 15. Sacred Heart getting set to take on Southfield Christian. Our keys to the game for tonight for Sacred Heart: playing together, mixing up the variety, limiting Southfield Christian's playmakers. For SCS, the communication will be key, a balanced attack, and the transition game, all key factors in getting a win tonight. Lily McClafferty on the Sacred Heart side, their senior setter. Look for her and Micah Lee to combine tonight. There is Micah the junior, outstanding outside, and we'll hope to get her going tonight against the outstanding block of Southfield Christian. On the SCS side of the net, a plethora of options, including Caitlin Warren-Shuey's, the senior, and there's another senior, Emily Van Dyke. You've heard of her before. She's been around for quite a while, and her impact is back, and maybe it's better than ever.
Because of you, I felt hopeless.
I know it was a joke, but it still hurt me.
Because of you, I felt wanted and not alone in this world.
Because you said hi to me on the first day of school, I felt included, and I knew that I was going to be okay.
Welcome back to Southfield Cable 15. Jason Ross Jr. back with you for another matchup. SCS at 3-1-1 on the season. The Sacred Heart Gazelles get their first points of this opening set to begin things under head coach Brittany Nager in their first match of the year. Set from Steitler goes outside to Van Dyke. We might say that more than once tonight, as the Eagles knot up this opening set. Van Dyke, the senior, outside. She's been a force on the outside since her freshman year. Head coach Mike Van Dyke is her dad, so she's obviously had some excellent coaching since she was very young. And back on the service line, Haley Ellington, another senior in that libero uniform. We get a double contact on the Gazelles. Something they'll have to avoid tonight is the self-inflicted harm. The Eagles come into this one heavily favored, riding some momentum after beginning the year. The West Bloomfield tournament, 3-1-1 in that stretch, as Van Dyke is able to tour the block. It was an auspicious start to the tournament for the Eagles. They won a few, including beating their crosstown rivals, Southfield A&T again. Lost the last one. It's a long tournament going from 8:30 a.m. to almost 2 in the afternoon. So naturally they kind of tailed off toward the end, but looking to get back at it in their debut on the home floor. It's always a raucous atmosphere as we get 4 contacts called on the Gazelles, and all of a sudden it's a bit of an extended run for the Eagles back there on the service line, feeding off some mistakes. We go best 3 sets out of 5. Necessary, we'll play a shortened 5th to 15. The service ace, and it's quickly 5-1 after the Gazelle struck first. Michael Lee, and just trying to tap that over, perhaps inadvertently, was Lily McCafferty. A free ball sent over, and it'll sail well long. McCafferty serving the, Ellington serving the deep cross court, and causing some troubles for the Gazelles. They're out of system once again. Now Steitler, the middle set that time, heading to Sullivan, the senior. That goes long, and finally Sacred Heart able to stem the tide. Natalie Warnett, the junior, to serve for the Gazelles. Sullivan dumps that over, and the Eagles bounce right back with the side out. Rachel Steitler on the assist there set a school record last season with 884. You hear quite a bit about Warren Shuey's, as you see Steitler there back on the service line and Van Dyke, but they wouldn't have reached nearly 1,000 kills combined if it weren't for number 11 in blue. Going to the outside of the Gazelles, Michael Lee. Nice soft touch off the block, and now the Blue Devils in transition. Sullivan able to tap that over. They're going to say that she netted, I believe. Kelly Coyne, the sophomore, makes her way in for Sacred Heart. And another self-inflicted error. It'll be interesting to see who the Gazelles try to serve. All of the Blue Devil players have pretty good ball control, and that's been one of their strong suits over the past couple of seasons. The opposite of good ball control there on the Gazelles side of the net on the miscommunication. They are a relatively young group. I mentioned their senior setter. Rather than that, you're looking at quite a few players who are in their first year on the varsity level. Here's Emily Van Dyke, the Albine Christian commit. Bella McHugh makes her way in. Now the Gazelles already facing a formidable deficit. Just trying to find some sort of rhythm. That was an excellent first contact to go right back to Lauren Shuey's on the quick set. Her athleticism on display early. That leaping ability is something else. It's fun to watch. That was the first time we really got to see it with the Eagles in system. Sullivan back to serve now, and McCafferty will watch that sail right by her. Michael Lee back to serve now. The junior outside, we mentioned she has some power, but it'll be a matter of whether they can get clean sets to her. Set kind of off the net there to Sullivan. Behind the 10-foot line, Lee trying to deliver to no avail. Decent first contact, but the setter McClafferty has to send it over herself. Lauren Shuey powers that one down, and it's a double-digit lead for SCS in this opening set. Cross court and the hammer right past the diving Lee. Able to find the vacant area, and now back goes Sullivan. They serve Lee, and it was a smart serve to take their best hitter rather, out of the play. And once again, ultimately, it was the setter that had to deliver a swing over. Shank pass. They'll have to send over a free ball. Scoring opportunity brewing for the Eagles. Out of the middle, dug out by Lee. It's going to be another double contact called, though, on McCafferty. So kind of a wasted opportunity there, as they were able to recover defensively after sending over that free ball. And Sullivan continues a nice run on the service line. It's already 16-4. Doesn't feel like it, but once again, having trouble and just having to send over another free ball are the Gazelles. To the outside, running a nice route and putting it away is Lauren Shuey. .434 kills a season ago for Warren Shuey's. The ex-Plymouth player transferred to SCS her junior year. Went from a really good program to a really good program and carried her winning ways over as Southfield Christian had a historic year in 2018. It was prolific on multiple accounts, and they're already up 18-4 in the opening set, getting the home campaign underway. But don't forget that you can follow Southfield Cable 15 Sports on Twitter to find out when the next game will be covered, when the next game will air, scores, and highlights at hashtag Cable 15 Sports. And since you're already on Twitter, check out the Cable 15 Sports Instagram page to see photos of the game as well. That's at Cable 15 Sports. Prior to that break, we mentioned that SCS had a historic season a year ago. Head coach Mike Van Dyke and company, they had been kind of brewing and developing with their talent. But they really exploded upon the arrival of Caitlin Warren-Shuey's. Made an MHSAA state semifinal for the first time in program history. In 47 seasons, they had never made it past the districts prior to a couple of years ago, and now they have all of a sudden won back-to-back regional championships. This is another tough serve that leads to a bad first serve received contact on the Gazelles side of the net as they continue to have trouble with this Southfield Christian daunting serve. It's been a conundrum in this opening set. And there they are, what we call a yo-yo serve, pulling the setter, whoever you're going to serve it to, forward, mixing up the variety, all different kinds of spots, going to different zones on the court. We've seen them hit the deep cross court. We've seen them go short. This one once again floats, another shank pass. Miscommunication once again. And the youth is starting to bleed into this matchup for Sacred Heart. Eagles just 3 points away from locking up the opening set. Another short serve. They serve Michael Lee. It was a smart first serve, and Lee with just a flat-footed delivery over. Now in rhythm, Warren-Shuey's off the block. Diving to save it was McClafferty. Sprawling effort. This point will ultimately end up with the Eagles on another double contact. Right there. That sends Allison Sullivan back. They've gotten on some really nice runs in this rotation. As Michael Lee has a word with the up official. Sullivan, one of 6 seniors. 6 of the 10 in the blue shirts tonight are seniors, and that is one of the reasons people feel if there's a year for them to get this done in terms of winning a state title. We mentioned they made it to the state semifinal a year ago, but this year it might be bound for even higher expectations, and you think certainly that's on the forefront of their minds and nothing really else. They've had plenty of success and talent over the past 4 seasons. At least 27 wins in the last 3. You have to go all the way back to 2014 to find the last time they didn't finish over 500. They went 14-18 that year in a disappointing season, but then in came the talent, and it's going to come to fruition now as seniors. A bit of a lift there on the double contact from Steitler. What's been a rarity in this opening set. A mistake from Rachel. Looking to the middle there. Back to serve now, and this one, Angelina Kakos for the Gazelles, and her serve will give it right back to the Eagles. Warren-Shuey's back to serve, such a versatile player, the 6 rotation hitter, and showing why there. She does more than just power it down. She's added some variety to her game in terms of hitting, and she can do that just as well back on the service line, as can most of these players. It feels like it doesn't matter who's back there tonight. Some teams will actually have situational service specialists. You don't see that as much at this level, though. Steitler to the middle, and one of the better blocking efforts for Sacred Heart keeps them alive in this opening set. In the middle that time, Bella McHugh using her height. Just a junior, and perhaps that could be something they find a way to better implement down the road. SCS goes back to the middle. Nice up that time from McClafferty, but they have to send over the free ball. Scrambling again. Steitler composed. Off the 10-foot line, that sail is long from Sullivan. Short serve. Warren Shuey's catches up to it. Nice job to recover, and it's the libero, Haley Ellington. Targeting Angelina Kakos, who's right off the bench. Probably should have been ready for that. But the ball control has been an issue tonight for the Gazelles. Along with errors. It's been an offensive first set for the Eagles. A sky-high hitting percentage. And now they find themselves with set point. Getting off to good starts in the home floor last season was very key. As Wernette back to serve there, and this is a rather methodical progression that ultimately leads to the Eagles wrapping up the opening set in commanding and concise and convincing fashion. Steitler was composed. He distributed the ball all around. Wasn't outside heavy, wasn't opposite heavy.
Morning, Gary. We are GetSchooled.com. You want a college education, don't you? Gary, financial aid forms. Biology homework, G. What? Picking a college, man. You and us go together like tacos and Tuesday.
And I love tacos.
Welcome back to Southfield Cable 15. SCS with that commanding 25-8 opening set. That's what they came in hoping they could do. To the outside they go. Picking up right where they left off with Emily Van Dyke. Plenty of smiles in that opening set. Just ripping it through the block, able to read it so well. These blockers, you want to seal off that net. That's what coaches will tell you most of the time. That wasn't the best block in the world, and when you're going up against Van Dyke, it's already a bit of a mismatch. Easy pickings there on the serve. Coming right in, Eden Stokes, the sophomore. Not sure if Coach Mike Van Dyke is playing her, as we mentioned, a service specialist in the opening set, but she comes right in off the bench there and puts one away. Another short serve. Maybe she is a service specialist. I don't know. Moved up to varsity for her sophomore campaign. So she's off to an auspicious start on the home floor. Giving her trouble again. Eden Stokes. They're really mixing it up as this run continues for Stokes. Next time going to the middle. And the communication on the opposite side of the net, you have to wonder about it as a young group. Mike Van Dyke hasn't called Stokes a service specialist yet. I might just go ahead and do it myself. Here is Van Dyke powering it down. Lee was there. Some nice range display, but they couldn't quite recover. And it's already 6-zip to open up this second set for the Eagles. Caught the line. What touch and accuracy, just floating it over deep that time. The Gazelles watched it float, thinking it was going to go out of bounds. But showing off the touch, showing off the accuracy. That time we get a positional error called on Sacred Heart, and this is, I'm sure, not what they talked about between sets. This is not what they wanted to get off to. This is just felt so quick there. It's already up 8-0, and you wonder about the mentality and the frustration of these young players in the early goings. And there's another scoring opportunity for SCS. Finally, they're able to stem the tide on the opposite side. Juliana Halisic in the middle now for Southfield Christian. Provides some invaluable height in the middle, but still getting used to the varsity level. Coaching staff liked what they saw from her right off the bat out of middle school. She was the only freshman on varsity a season ago. Nice little dump over there from Steitler, showing what she can pull out of her bag of tricks. And oftentimes, as she goes back to the service line here, when the setter can provide issues like that on the service line as well, you know, it takes away blockers from being able to cover Van Dyke, being able to cover Warren Shuey's. Now Halisic in the middle, and they continue to give the Gazelles trouble. 10-1 already in this middle set. And once again, we'd like to remind you that you can watch Cable 15 anywhere you have internet access. Just go to the City of Southfield's website, click on Cable 15, and hit the Cable 15 Live tab. Watch Cable 15 Live on your mobile device, tablet, or computer. Steitler just provides so many issues. We mentioned her school record, 884 assists a season ago. And adding some little trickery in there. She's been nice in the service line tonight. The Eagles are in cruise control right now. They haven't really had to do much in this second set. It's really all, for the majority, come from the service line. Time backing the libero all the way up. Another free ball to work with here. Steitler. Kendall Martin in now, the 5'9" sophomore opposite, her first year on varsity. The bump set. Steitler puts it up to Van Dyke. They're going to say, I believe Van Dyke got a piece of the net. What could have been called a lift there, the little flick up. So that sends Lily McClafferty back to serve. We mentioned the potential combination of her and Michael Lee, but she really just hasn't been able to find her tonight. Is able to put that away and take the serve right back is Kendall Martin, showing the variety of options, some of the more youthful options that this SCS team possesses. Over on the bench, we see Haley Ellington with the ice on her left shin. Hope that she's all right. But this might be the matchup. If it continues along this path, it could be good for some of their older players to sit out. Obviously don't want any injuries, but we're seeing some of the youth injected now. Although here's some experience, as I say that, back on the service line in Emily Van Dyke. Last season became the first Eagle in program history to surpass 1,000 career kills. And she'll head back to the service line as they eclipse into the teens. Now 13-2 in this second set. Eagles won the first set 25-8. Tough serve. McClafferty was calling it, but the communication off once more and kind of fortuitously rolls over the net. Steitler has trouble with it. I think the Eagles thought that point was wrapped up, as it probably should have been. The Gazelles escape. Just haven't been able to get a good first contact today. At the end of the day, this game comes all the way down to the serve-pass game, and it's continued to favor Southfield Christian. That time Steitler to Warren Shuey's. The leaping ability is uncanny. Kind of reminds me of Ronnie Jones-Perry on BYU. That smaller in terms of height, but the incredible leaping ability can help her get over taller blocks. And tonight, Sacred Heart really doesn't present a taller block, so it's almost like target practice, and the mistakes haven't helped the Gazelles. Good sign. Ellington back in after getting looked at for a bit by the trainers and having some ice put on her calf. Well, at one point in the opening set, Eagles are up 18-4, and now it's 16-3. Not too far of a drop-off from set to set. Don't forget to head over to our Cable 15 YouTube channel. You can find us at Southfield Multimedia Services. Find all of our latest programming, including past matchups and future matchups. We'll have more SCS volleyball for you as this season develops. 3-1-1 on the young season are the Eagles. Plenty of potential, plenty of high expectations. Doesn't look like they're feeling the pressure tonight, though. Although keeping up that intensity is surely what head coach Mike Van Dyke will want to see. They've been sound in terms of execution. The rare mistakes have creeped in, but the service aces have been abundant. 17-3. Ellington once again serves Lee, taking her route away. They slowed her down. A blast, though, off the 10-foot line from Micah Lee. That's what we see out of her at times, but just not often enough tonight. Was able to recover after they served her to try to slow her down. You can take the hitter's route away if you serve her, but sometimes the hitter is so good that it just doesn't matter how many blockers are up or whether or not you're serving at her. The rare miscommunication that time on the Eagles side of the net. Thus the rare run on the Gazelles side of the net. A bit of a laugh there as Lee just kind of pings that off the back of Kelly Coyne. It's a young group, and anytime you grew up that momentum, it seems as though the trouble is finding it consistently. Shank pass, and this will be tough to work with. Just has to kind of float and overhead over. That sets up Warren Shuey's on the scoring opportunity. Her hitting percentage very high tonight. You have to think she's over 400. That sends Sullivan back. Got on a really nice run in that beginning of the opening set. That one sails on her. Side out for the Gazelles. Sydney Burnett serving now. Warren Shuey's off the set from Steitler. That hookup continues to be prolific. Warren Shuey's that time able to find the spot right between Michael Lee and the libero. That sends Warren Shuey's back to serve now. Able to drag the libero up. But tough to handle there for Steitler. I mentioned 6 of the 10 players on this SES roster are seniors. Here's a senior for the Gazelles, McClafferty, over to Wernette. Presents some height there as a junior, but that's tapped over. Point Southfield Christian, we look up and all of a sudden, we're just 4 points away from a 2-set-to-none lead. Once again, Steitler pulling the tricks out of the bag. Sacred Heart has not been able to handle that tonight. Think about a player like August Rasky at Oregon, who's so athletic and really creates a lot of one-on-one situations for her hitters. That time, Van Dyke didn't need a one-on-one situation. Just puts it right over top the block and down. I don't even think the block was up. They weren't ready for it. Quick set. And that sends back a player who feels like a service specialist in the early goings of her varsity career, Eden Stokes. That time unable to get the service ace, but Steitler, they're going to give this point to the Eagles. Just 2 points away now. With Stokes back to serve, and that's been productive to say the least for Southfield Christian. That sets up set point for a commanding and what feels like almost insurmountable mountain to climb for the Gazelles if the Eagles are to put this away, barring anything unforeseen and magical. There it is, a 2-set-to-none lead for the Eagles. They get off to plenty of victorious starts a season ago, and that's what ultimately got them to a state semifinal. This year, they're hoping to win it all. Right now, trying to get off to a 1-0 start on the home floor. Sacred Heart, the mistakes have just creeped in a bit too much. We'll have the third and possible final set coming up on the other side of the break. You're watching girls high school volleyball on Southfield Cable 15.
People think I'm
58,
trash.
57, 56,
But they're wrong.
55, 54, 53.
Today I'm just an aluminum can.
51,
But one day, I could be a
50,
stadium.
49, 48, 47. Welcome back to girls high school volleyball on Southfield Cable 15. Jason Ross Jr. back for what could be the third and final set of this home opener for the Eagles. There is a double contact called on McClafferty. Second one tonight on McClafferty. 25-8, 25-7 were the Lions through 2 sets. Just 15 total points for the Gazelles through 2 sets. And this has been the number one issue, the first contact. They just have to send over a free ball. It was a bit tight for Steitler, but able to find Van Dyke once again. Those two hooked up plenty of times a season ago on this home floor. Emily Van Dyke set a school record 534 kills last season. We mentioned the Abilene Christian University commit. She'll be heading all the way to Texas, about 1,130 miles away. Not sure how head coach Mike Van Dyke feels about how far she'll be going, but, you know, he's certainly proud of her. He grew up coaching her, and it's led to this point where it all comes to fruition. And individually, she has been one of the best players not only in this conference, but really around the state of Michigan at this level over the past 4 years or so. Now she has a partner in crime since last season in Caitlin Warren Shuey's. Those two again combining for almost 1,000 kills last season. They wouldn't have done it without Rachel Steitler, who had 884 assists. Here's Warren Shuey's back on the service line. They have served some absolute gems in this one. 5-zip. It's another excellent start. And once again, the Gazelles find themselves in a deep hole to begin this one. It was a 10-1 start to the second set for the Eagles. Once you get this gym going, it can be pretty raucous. There's a short serve as they mixed it up a bit. Such a field house-like atmosphere here at SCS. And they get the crowd involved. They get everyone involved. Just about everything is clicking tonight for the defending back-to-back regional champs. Sails long on Warren Shuey's. Right past line judge Earl Swift, back at it again. Does plenty of excellent work with Southfield Christian. Works with Lawrence Tech as well. Works in particular with the Southfield Christian men's basketball team that's been so successful in recent history. Our other line judge for this one, Devontae Miles, former Lawrence Tech basketball player. He also does some excellent work. Had an excellent senior season a year ago. A couple of great guys, a couple of good friends of mine. You'll see them around pretty often here at Southfield Christian High School. Both have really cool personalities and doing a great job on the lines tonight. Eagles off to a 7-1 blazing start again to this third set. The location has been sublime tonight from Eden Stokes, sophomore who again moved up to varsity this year. Doesn't look like she's missed a beat from JV. You can see why they moved her up. Really giving the Gazelles trouble in terms of that first contact, disrupting their passing ability. Double contact called that time. The rare mistake creeps in for Steidler. He's progressing rather methodically there and just kind of a bit too slow off the hands. So get another opportunity here. Out of system, but it was a free ball that wasn't so free for the Gazelles. They just have to toss one over. They made a mess out of that. A rare opportunity and couldn't capitalize. See the frustration on their faces once again. Just like that, it's 10-2. The ace chants have been coming in on multiple occasions tonight. Doesn't matter who's back there, they have just been golden. Well, you'd prefer for McClafferty maybe to come up to that, take a couple steps up as opposed to backing up. That time Michael Lee meets it, but they're smart again to serve Michael Lee. There aren't really any other prolific options in terms of hitting for this Sacred Heart team, and the lack of options has been an issue because SCS can just serve Lee and take her out of the play instantly. A couple of times she's been able to recover, but for the most part, that's been the strategy on the service line, along with pulling them up, short serves. And just too many moments like that won't help you out if you're the Gazelles. Next up for SCS will be Everest Collegiate High School Academy in a couple of days to finish off this two-game homestand before heading out on the road for the next three. Tournament coming up at Novi High School. We mentioned they began the season with a West Bloomfield invite. 3 wins, a tie, and a loss. 5 matches, albeit they were all 2-set matches. In high school play for tournaments in the state of Michigan, you play just 2 sets, which means you can tie it 1 set apiece. And all those matches played on the same day. Right now, it's 15-3 in this 3rd set. Just cruising along. Don't forget that Cable 15 Sports covers all of your sports action. Football, basketball, swimming, volleyball, baseball, and wrestling. Catch it all on Southfield Cable 15. Remember, you can head over to our Southfield Cable 15 multimedia YouTube channel to find archived games. Plenty of SCS volleyball still to come, and what should be, and what is proving to be, already a very successful start. What will hopefully be a very successful season throughout this 2019 campaign from Mike Van Dyke and his Eagles. Again, 3 years in a row with at least 27 wins. 27-10-3 last year. They had 28 wins the year prior. Back-to-back regional champs coming off a 7-3 conference campaign a year ago. Just a flat-footed swing off the 3-meter line there for Michael Lee, and that sets up a big blast for Warren Shoeys. It's aesthetically pleasing, it's powerful, there's elevation, it's high, it's hard, it's deep. Nothing to do there for Sidney Barnett. That sends Van Dyke to the service line. Serves Lee. Once again, that strategy continues to creep in. Here is Eden Stokes. She's been spectacular in her Fieldhouse debut on varsity. This point will go to the Gazelles. Get some substitutions coming in here. Warnett, who we saw for most of that first set, one of their more experienced players. Coaching staff really likes her game, the junior. She'll make her way back in, and Lee will head back to serve. Steitler just has to track that down. Out of system, but a good set. They'll work with the overpass. Tried to go in transition there, couldn't get anything. Didn't get a block up and really couldn't have an opportunity to work in transition. Now it's a better opportunity for Sullivan. McClafferty was there, one of the more extended rallies of this match. But ultimately it goes to the Eagles, as it has for the majority of this evening. 17-4 now in set number 3. Well, Ellington, who it's a bit of, I guess you could say, a bit of a scare earlier in terms of the view of Eagles fans with that ice on her shin, but she appears to be all right with the service ace there. One of the better first contacts, but not who they wanted that first pass to go to. Obviously, you wanted to go to McClafferty, and then you want the exact opposite of that. You want McClafferty going to Lee. At that time, the miscommunication and just the positional aspect of everything. It's been a struggle tonight. Once again, McClafferty, the setter, will have to deliver the swing. Doesn't really give SCS any trouble. Nice effort there from the libero, showing off her range. Bit of a defensive rhythm that the Gazelles have gotten into over the past couple of points. You can say one of their brighter spots of this match, but the SCS block is up. As McClafferty gets roofed by Warren Shoeys, to the delight of this crowd. So good defensively, despite her height at 5'8", which is relatively tall at this level, but it's her leaping ability that makes up for it. This time they're going to set her up on the outside. You could see it all the way, but it didn't matter. read it pretty well, but sometimes it doesn't matter who's blocking. A good hitter. There's a one-on-one situation there as well, and the block wasn't really up. So back comes Angelina Keikos to the service line. Sophomore, her first year on varsity. And that one was about 7 feet off the net as the struggles at the service line continue for the Gazelles. And now the Eagles find themselves 3 points away from an early night and some well-deserved rest. What a debut for Eden Stokes on this floor at the varsity level. Warnett gets blocked there by Caitlin. And the point will ultimately go to the Gazelles. Nice cross-court swing there from Warnett. Maybe we could have mixed in a bit more of that tonight. But again, just totally lost the serve-pass battle as that trickles down the block, unable to seal off the net of the Gazelles. If you don't get your blocking technique right against Warren Shuey's in a one-on-one matchup, you already don't stand much of a chance one-on-one against her. But easy pickings there, and now she'll look to finish it off on the service line. Well, if you're interested in the Southfield community, how things get decided, make sure to tune in every other Monday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time for the Southfield City Council meeting, right after your Monday game of the week on Southfield Cable 15. Welcome back to Cable 15, 23-6, and a point away from a match point for Caitlin Warren-Chewies. Up official still getting in her position. As we could be nearing the end of this one, much earlier than the Gazelles wanted. But it will certainly be some well-deserved rest before another one in a couple of days for the Eagles as they'll take on Everest College on Thursday. That's tight, and now it's match point. Well, at least 27 wins over the past 3 seasons for this Eagles group. I don't think 30 is out of the realm of possibility this year. It was clean, it was concise, it was convincing for Southfield Christian on this occasion. Not much doing for Sacred Heart. They don't eclipse the 10-point mark in either of the 3 sets. There's a lot of variety. The service line was absolutely sublime tonight for Southfield Christian. I think Mike Van Dyke will be happy. I think the Eagle faithful will be happy as well. Plenty of expectation, plenty of anticipation for this season. And they're off to a hot start on the home floor. This was a presentation of girls high school volleyball on Southfield Cable 15. For producer Art Ford, I'm Jason Ross Jr. signing off. Have a wonderful night.